Toastmasters General Evaluator. For Rochelle's speech, I will be focusing on the presentation, the delivery. So I will focus on the vocal variety, eye contact, and gestures. Mervat Lafala will be focusing on the organization of the speech, the clarity and the interest. And Frank Zabel will be focusing on speech purpose, audience awareness, and comfort level, along with some other suggestions that Rochelle had given us. Rochelle, thank you very much for your speech. I enjoyed your speech very much. I am focusing on your vocal variety. So this is what I heard and what I felt with your vocal variety. I thought you did good in your vocal variety in general. What I would like to see is you get a little more excited when you're speaking in your vocal variety, and it will come out as you speak. For the man's voice, the male voice, I think what you could do is have a deeper voice, like, stop robbing my seat. You can make him crabby like he was, kind of. So just work on the vocal variety, the voices, and I can send you some information on that too, because I have it for doing my puppets. And I thought it would be good if you moved, when you were doing that character, you moved to the right, because you're being a different character with this man. As for the eye contact, it was hard doing it on virtual to be able to tell with your eye contact, but when you do this for a contest, it would be great you move to the right, you're looking to the right, to the middle, to the left, and just let go and be free to move around when you're doing this for the contest. And then as for gestures, you did good with, it was good, your gestures were good with purpose when you were speaking and when you were acting out the toddler crying. But I would watch, I do this too a lot. You seem to clasp your hands quite a bit. So just be careful with that. I do that too. So I wanted to also elaborate on what you excelled at. You're very good at storytelling, and your transitions went very well. I love your beautiful smile because you draw us in when you start even speaking. You have a strong presence when you're speaking, and that was very good. And then you may want to work on just, well, as I talked to you about the characters, and a little bit more of humor. So when you were acting out the crabby, saying you're crabby, you could say, have you ever felt crabby? And ask us a question. That'll make us laugh. And then to challenge yourself, I think just pause a little bit more when you're telling the stories. You work a little bit more on the pausing. So as for the ending of your story, I thought you had a great conclusion. You left us with something to encourage us to choose more wisely. And I think this will make a great contest speech. So just keep working on it, and you will do a great job. I really enjoyed your story today. So thank you so much, Rochelle. And next we will have Mervat speak about clarity and interest and the organization of her speech.
Rachel, amazing speech. I love it. You know, I feel like I'm biased toward you. Since I heard your first speech, miscommunication, it really, I remember it till now, since I first time here. This was my first time hearing you. It was a winner speech, and I'm really looking forward to see this speech is winning too. So if I speak about how great is your speech, I could speak forever. but I wanted to give you my 2 points to take this speech to the next level. So your speech is amazing. It's kind of mixed between storytelling and the regular organized speech with the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, which you have done this very perfectly good. To organize your speech is a way to be your audience more audience-centered. It's great. You express yourself very well in the storytelling. However, there's some strategy I would recommend to look at using it, like compare and contrast what's the advantage and what is disadvantage. I mean, in the introduction, you can add, yeah, choose your path, and I will kind of tell you how. And one of the things that I am seeking clarity for, when you ask that man, sir, you're sitting on my seat. It looks to me that your voice was an angry tone. I'm not sure if this is what you want to relay. What I want to recommend is that you were sending the message you were under stressor. So what did you do to make a change, and how did you take a deep breath in what you were thinking inside yourself? Did you take a deep breath? Oh, I am under stress, but I will make this a good day and I will choose. And how did you come to that choice in these few seconds? Did you take a deep breath? Did you think it before you speak? And how did you do it? Your conclusion is amazing, but you could have been making better. Like when you say choose your path and add to it how to choose your path and make your day special and make it stronger in your tone of voice and in your gesture. Amazing speech, and good luck taking it to the next level. Back to the team lead.
And next we will have Frank Zabel. He's going to talk about the speech purpose, audience awareness, and comfort level. Frank?
Thank you, Jane. I'm
You're
going to start with the comfort level in my speech evaluation goal. I think you're very comfortable in front of an audience or in front of a camera. I like that you were standing and you had set up your camera well so we could see your body language and expression. You used your hands, you used body gestures, you used a little movement, which is what you're restricted to with camera. So I like that you did that well. Audience awareness, it says your reaction to watching your audience and adjusting things. I know that Edward mentioned in his speech, he was watching the gallery photos and saw some facial expressions. He created it. I think you had a smooth speech. You explained it well. It flowed well. So I don't know if you adjusted it at all based on audience awareness. So you did well. And then as far as speech purpose, I think it's a great message to communicate. You started out with your journey, your experience, and how you made a choice that made a difference. We saw crabby and I think fear or concern. You were sitting next to a possible confrontation. One of the things, I see you as a happy, positive person. I think I have difficulty or didn't see crabby from your expression. I'm sure you can get crabby, but can you use your body language? What do you body language say when you're crabby? And also, I didn't see concern when you're sitting next to them, maybe moving over to get away from the confrontation, give you some space to express it without saying it is the goal. But I did like your conclusion because it's something, an action I can take to change my everyday life, not just trips, but everyday life. It happens to me. So a very good message. I think it's something you can be very successful with in a speech contest. Thank you.
Now we'd like to invite Richelle to speak for a minute, please.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you to Mervat and to Frank for excellent evaluations. This is a speech that I am still working on, still developing, and I truly appreciate the feedback that you've given to me in order to enhance this speech even more and make it better and potentially make it a winning contest speech. Zane, if you could send me the information about the vocal variety that you were talking about during your evaluation, I would greatly appreciate it. I like that all of you gave me specific things that I could focus on as I work on making this speech even better. So thank you very much for providing very thoughtful and thorough feedback today.
Thank you, Rochelle. And lastly, we would like to take some time to ask the audience if they have any comments, please. Anyone? You can raise your hand if you, Barbara?
When you started off the speech, I was concerned that it was going to be the flight with that famous video that went viral. And I was like, oh my gosh, was she on that flight? And I thought maybe you were going to go into what happens when something horrible happens around you and it becomes very famous and takes over your life. I really enjoyed the speech. Thank you so much for such a practical piece of advice and making things more positive in the world.
Anyone else? Jackie?
I just think it might be funnier, Richelle, if you did the New York accent and the Boston accent. I know you can do accents. If you can't do those, then make them from a different place. You know, it could be a French woman that the New Yorker was bumping up against. A New York accent is really good in a crabby way. But I know you can do that, and I think that'd be just a little bit of color.
Anyone else? Jim?
I remember hearing Press Vasilev once talk about delivering stories, and one of the things that stuck with me was the concept of foreshadowing, which is sort of a way of hinting where the story might go early on, and then sculpting our path to get there. So the fact that you actually had a positive message at the end, you built the flow to that really well. Just a tiny little hint early on that maybe all was not going to be ugly, that it might have a positive ending, then kind of piques our interest for, so how's she going to get there?
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else? Okay, I think is our time up, Keith? Or
yes.
I think that's it then. Thank you.